If you were God, how would you control the powers of evil? In chapter 59, we talked about the experience of entering hell for the first time to find your spiritual home there. And this chapter begins as a continuation of that, and especially paragraph 574, which was all about how the evil spirits explore and then exploit these new spirits. But for me, one of the big takeaways of this chapter comes right at the end, where Swedenborg raises the topic of punishments. Now remember that punishment is not imposed by God, who is divine love, but rather it is a logical consequence of evil. Still, the question is, if God is love, why does he even allow punishments to occur? And this chapter lays that out. He begins by reminding us that spirits are superior to people in one very important way. They are not bound by the restrictions of living in the physical world. Your mind can imagine just about anything it likes, but just because I can imagine something or want it to happen doesn't mean that it just will. Living in this world means there are obstacles to overcome first. For one thing, there's the physical laws that make some actions impossible. For example, I can't flap my arms fast enough to make me fly. We are also subject to civil and moral laws, and while these don't necessarily make a particular outcome impossible, they do at least make us think twice before doing something. So I might want to drain your bank account, but the fear of getting caught and everything that follows on from that may well prevent me from trying. But the spiritual world has none of these limitations. It's much closer to my mental landscape, where really anything is possible. So what stops evil spirits from taking over? How would you control the powers of evil? And Swedenborg is pretty blunt. In paragraph 581, he writes, "The only means of restraining and subduing evils and of keeping the infernal crew in bonds is the fear of punishment. There is no other way." And this punishment happens in a couple of ways. Firstly, evil spirits live with other, like-minded evil spirits, each wanting the upper hand. There's no moral code as such, but that continuous effort to be in charge and to keep others in their place maintains a certain status quo. Secondly, the laws which do govern the spiritual world prevent evil spirits from overrunning and destroying everything. Evil spirits find heaven repulsive. For one thing, they believe the angels to be slaves to the divine will, and for another, Swedenborg frequently describes the physical revulsion they experience when they even come close to heaven. And everything I do has a consequence that I myself will experience fully sooner or later. Or as Swedenborg puts it, good done with all one's heart carries its own reward together with it, and evil done with all one's heart carries its own punishment together with it. So, how would you control the powers of evil? As always, you're welcome to read along with us or read ahead if you prefer. There may be questions you'd like to add in the comments. Enjoy the journey.